All right, so you've invited people to connect. They're starting to accept. What do you do with these new connections? Well, you need to stay top of mind with them by, in a relatively consistent manner, engaging with them. And you can engage with them publicly through commenting and sharing and liking their updates, their activity, their articles and posts. And you can send private messages. You just don't want to come across as a stalker. Now, I'm also going to share with you later a tool called Duck Soup. It is a way to manage your network, because if you have 100, 1,000, 10,000 connections, some people are going to drop through the cracks, and you don't want that to happen, because these are the very people that you invited for a reason to connect. These are the people that can help you find your next position. So let's take a look at some of the different ways that you can engage with your new connections on LinkedIn. When it comes to engaging with your new connections on LinkedIn, it's important to be respectful, but not necessarily subservient, unless that is either the culture of the individuals that you're engaging with or the culture of the company that you're engaging with. What do I mean by that? If you're looking for a job at a really cool tech startup in San Francisco, chances are the culture is going to be a lot more casual, a lot more relaxed. And so your engagement, whether through updates or through messaging, can be a little bit more casual and relaxed. However, if you're looking for an internship or a position at a company in Japan, chances are that it will have a much more structured and formal relationship, and in which case you need to be aware of the expectations of the individuals that you're reaching out to. So let's take a look at some of the different ways that you can engage on LinkedIn. Well, first of all, once you're connected to someone, it's a great idea to start engaging with their activity. That is, if they're active on LinkedIn. And if you go to their profile and scroll down just a little bit, you can see the articles, the long form posts that they've written, but also their activity, which is everything that they've done on LinkedIn, whether it's just a simple update or, like I said, an article. And so you can just scroll through the activity of those individuals that you're interested in engaging with and like, comment, or even share that content. What happens is, especially for the comments and the shares, they'll be notified of that activity. Now, you don't want to look like a stalker, right? You don't want to be the person that 10 times a day is liking and sharing somebody else's content. That's just a little bit creepy. But once a week or so, you might start to build some top of mind awareness with them. And so when you do reach out and ask a question or ask for a little bit of time on the phone, they're a lot more likely to give you a few minutes. Now, what happens when you go to their profile and they're not active on LinkedIn? Well, now you probably are going to have to send them a private message. And so on LinkedIn, it's very similar to Facebook. You can send them a private message either by clicking on the message tab and writing your message down in here, or if you're messaging several of the individuals that you've invited to connect, you can just go to the messaging tab at the top of your profile and send a message by clicking on the little pen icon to the right of messaging and starting to type in their names. Now, while you can, in fact, type in multiple people, you only want to send a message to one person at a time. If you start typing in the names of everybody you reached out to here, they're all going to see each other. They're all going to see that you sent them all the exact same message, and that's going to be a little off-putting. Just plain annoying, actually. Drives me nuts when people do that. So when you're sending a message to someone, always one person at a time, send your message, then come up here, send a new message, then come up here, send a new message. What's a good message for someone that you just connected with on LinkedIn? Now, depending on when you sent the invitation and they accepted, like if they accepted yesterday, then they're probably going to remember who you are. If they accepted a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they might need a little bit of a reminder. So if they accepted yesterday, just say, thanks so much for accepting my invitation to connect. I really appreciate it. Then skip to the second paragraph. I have a few questions about the company or the industry that you're in. Could I send them to you in an email or here on LinkedIn? Or if you have 10 minutes, I would love a phone call with you. And of course, you always sign with salutation of choice, your name, and your phone number. Now, in messages, you can add links. So you can most definitely put your email address in here as well. And if there's a link that you would want to send them to, maybe you're using a scheduling tool like Calendly.com. That's the one I use. And that will allow them to actually book time with you. So these are some different options, but you want to give them as many contacts, as many ways of contacting you as possible. So that's when you just reach out to someone new on LinkedIn. So if you reach out to someone and you send the first message and they're kind of like, leave me alone, I don't have time for you, I'm too busy. You can always say something like, hi, name, I totally understand how busy you must be. I might reach out in a few months, but I promise to leave you alone for the time being. Kind of lighthearted. Again, it very much depends on the country or company culture that the person that you are engaging with. Now, of course, if you are able to get that informational interview, then the day of, or even better, the day after the interview, you want to follow up with them, both on LinkedIn, and I would highly recommend sending a personal note, a handwritten note. The message that you could actually put in both on LinkedIn and in the handwritten note are, thank you so much for your time yesterday. These are the actions I've already taken. And then let them know the activity, if they gave you some advice, things that you're already working on. Your guidance means so much. Thanks, name, phone number, email address. The thing is, I have mentored so many people, or at least let's say I've given so many graduates and people new to the industry advice, and I never hear back from them how they're doing, what they're doing, if they took action. And I feel like I've wasted my time. So if someone is willing to give you their time, right? If they're willing to take time out of their day, and some of these people are being paid $100, $200, $500, $1,000 an hour. So 15 minutes is kind of a big deal. If they give you advice, please follow up with them and let them know that you followed their advice. And even better yet, what the results are. That's going to make them feel so good. Now, some of you might be going, there's no way this influencer in this industry or this person in this company is ever going to respond to me. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at how generous people can be with their times when it comes to becoming a mentor on LinkedIn. However, like I said, it's time consuming to be a mentor. And so if you are asking for a mentor-mentee relationship on LinkedIn, then please set the expectation of time, right? Let them know I might ask you a question or ask for a phone call once a month or twice a year. Let them know that you're not going to be wanting them to help you every hour of every day, right? Because trust me, there's some people who do have that expectation of their mentors, and it's just not feasible. But if you set an expectation of time with them, they might be much more willing to engage with you. So you can see it's pretty easy to stay engaged and top of mind with your new connections on LinkedIn. Just remember that you want to engage in a way that reflects their company culture or their culture, period. And you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to come across as a stalker. But by sharing consistently and methodically, you can really begin to build your relationship, build a sense of them knowing you, hopefully liking you, and trusting you enough to give some of their time to you.